Hey folks, so I'm here with Paul Solger. This is Eric Core with Punk Globe, and welcome. It's really good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been listening to the new album. Just kind of my take on it. It's really fun. It's like there's layers to it. Like it's really rich, which I like. There's like the music, just like the music's really full, but it's not like in an overdone full way. It's just really. It reminds me of like you know, like when you see those tapestry rugs on the side of a wall, it's kind of
Yeah.
like that. There's a lot of richness, but it all works out really well. And then at times there's a tension to the music that it almost made me think of the best way I can describe it. It's like if somebody gave me a hand grenade, pulled the pin, and that pressure right before it's about to pop, that's what I feel in places like it. Just there's just a really great tension. And
Hmm.
just like at times it feels like you're just pushing to the edge of chaos, but
Yeah.
then you always pull it right. But you always manage to not lose it. But I love that energy. I love that feeling. So
It, it was done very, non-traditional manner. So maybe that's why I got that. So
yeah, how did you put it all together? Because I know you hadn't done like you had been like I love the title MIA for sure
yeah,
because it's
and that's completely true. I hadn't done anything new or new band-wise or new music at least 20 years. I'd done a few reunions with my original band, but um, that's it, you know. So, and then this, it comes, it's kind of a story leading there, but like I said, it wasn't traditional where you usually got the songs, you figure them out, and then you go rehearse them for a while, and then you kind of go in and do them. This, we had no idea what songs we were going to do, who was going to sing which song, or how it was going to go. We would come in and their big dry eraser board there, and you just kind of figure it out each day what we tackle.
so
And
you built the songs as a group then, right? Is that
yeah, yeah, it's basically there was, whoever was singing that day would be in there. Um, and the core band, which was me and Peter Del Judas on drums, Mikey Moo on bass, and Duff was there most days playing guitar, filling in. Um, and Stone was in the thing, some pretty much most days. And then Josh, he could pretty much fill in for anything, the engineer.
yeah.
So between that group of people, yeah, we just kind of put them together, and then we take a break and do song two, so two a day.
Oh
And
wow, that's a pretty intense process.
yeah, well, it was. You would think it would be chaotic and whatever, but I think everybody knew their roles. I knew just I'm going to hold back because it's been last time I was in a studio, it was still 2 inch reel to reel. I hadn't
Oh,
really worked with digital a little bit, but um, I'd just do my part and then go out in the kitchen or on the back patio, and they'd be in there, doing all their little cut and paste and whatever the hell they're doing, which I don't really care for that end of the process. So it gets a little tedious listening to the same song or the same segment of a song over and over again, where I just want to, torch the song, go on to do something else. You don't want to ever hear it again. That's probably why I didn't listen for all last winter and before that. I just kind of stayed away from it. So
so did you
yeah,
record this in about a week or two then? I mean, that's pretty intense.
I
Writing
think it
to
was
recording and
about 9 days altogether because
oh,
one day was that didn't. One day we didn't get much done. We had planned on coming in and doing a couple days of rehearsing the songs, but I think just on day one, I said, forget this, just go. Let's do song one. Let's do that one that Duff sings and roll it. And we did. And actually, we didn't even end up using that version because I think it was a little, we had to hit a stride. And we used the version that I recorded here on my couch, with my guitar on my iPhone.
Oh wow.
It's Yeah, there's a lot mixed in there. There's parts where, I'm at 4 in the morning, where I'm at my best,
Yeah.
recording the guitar parts on my phone. They're there on the album. And then there's parts that were done in the studio. And so you can kind of mix them all together now where you never used to be able to do that.
It's funny because it
So
does have like this really powerful live feeling to it. And it's kind of a cool
true.
like
And it's,
we're like engaged in like different ways of molding it together.
yeah. Well, when we were in the studio, we were right there looking at each other, as much as we possibly could instead of everything being isolated. But definitely some of the stuff that was kind of meant as writing demos, I guess, that Peter and I had did, and Rob, who was the singer before tragedy struck on his end. And we just had this whole big file full of them. I think we had 80 songs to choose from, so it was kind of hard to whittle down. I think we did. Was there 10 on the album? I think we had
There's
15
10, yeah.
altogether. And uh, actually, we're going to pull one out and do it at one of the shows because we decided, yeah, let's do that live. It'll probably be better, you know, because there was such a strong vocal performance on it. And it's kind of a mid-tempo song that didn't make it on because it just didn't feel like it was ready yet.
Yeah.
But
It's cool. One of the things I liked was all the different vocal stylings.
yeah,
Um, uh, who all was singing? I mean that's because it's really it makes it even more interesting because like each song I don't know what's gonna come at me. And
yeah,
then I also really liked all the backing vocals you did because there was some really intense stuff you did there.
yeah. You got to hand that to Deja and Barbara for really locking in those background vocals. They would come in and have lists, of like, exactly where things should go, and Sam too. So it's kind of like I picked three people and Stone picked like three people. We had a couple people that didn't work, but the first one was Duff. He just nailed it. That was the New American one. And then I think Sam was next, who's in a band called The Deception, like Thee.
Okay.
And they're really intense. All their songs are like under 2 minutes or about 2 minutes. And um, I like that band a lot. And they're on Loose Groove. And he came in. I didn't know him, but when I saw him work, he was great. He would, we'd be parked out back, and he's like, "Is that your car? Can you move it so I can shoot baskets and get ready?" So he'd go out there and get himself all worked up, and then, write the lyrics right out in the kitchen area, and then just kind of bounce off the walls while he was doing his lyrics or his vocals. And Deja, she's the strong female voice. The Not
Yeah.
that Barb isn't, but I think Deja comes across in a whole different way. I hadn't heard. I guess she was in Seattle, and I kind of vaguely remember her. But she was in New York most of the time, where her parents were, and her mom was a jazz singer. And I heard her voice, just a snippet of it on a song, and it kind of sent shivers down my spine in a good way that not many people do when I hear a voice. And so I was like, yeah, yeah, I want to hear more of that. And I'm glad I did because she's incredible. And then Sammy, who I mentioned, and then the guy from the Briefs and multiple other bands,
Oh, okay.
Stevie Nicks or Steve Ross. Um, he wrote. He kind of surprised everybody because I had this song, the one called Third Dream,
Uh-huh.
which wasn't supposed to be in the mix at all because I'd had that floating around for like 15 years and never knew what to do with it. It just didn't fit. And I don't know who heard it, or maybe I was playing it because it was just something I played all the time. and then they wanted to use it, so I just tagged on like a what I would say is a cliche Lou Reed three chord beginning and ending,
Okay.
to the middle part section that where the verses are and the chorus. So
I caught that in there. It was kind of like a little bit of a nod, but not enough to like take you all the way there, but just it was kind of a cool little tribute in a way.
yeah, and that's something Rob and I had said in the beginning when we started this was, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We don't want to do stuff that we'd already no repeats of what we'd done, like bringing songs in from old bands. And the number one thing we were shooting for was kind of create some of that excitement that we'd had as kids with certain records that got us excited about music, away from the arena rock stuff we were kind of already growing up on from our brothers and sisters. And, who was it we heard first? Was it Alice Cooper or Lou Reed or the Stooges or something like that? Maybe it was the Ramones or the Sex Pistols. I don't know, but you'd hear them and you knew something had changed, right?
Yeah,
This is a whole different ball game. This was not Pink Floyd. This was not whatever. Not knocking those bands, but if we could recreate just like an iota of that without it like going, oh God, you sound just like, you don't want that.
right. No,
So
but you carry
writing
the
was,
energy.
yeah, exactly. And that excitement they brought to music. So that's a tall order, I guess. I think we didn't think about it too much. But I think we succeeded in a weird way. Um, there's actually another album I have done and mastered, which are the last things that Rob ever sang on. So I'm waiting for the right situation to come along. But yeah, there was that was definitely a nod to Lou. I wasn't trying to hide it too much, but I didn't want people to go, "Oh God, that's a."
I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cool little like just a little transition there, and
Yeah.
I thought it was really
I
tastefully done.
I'm a huge fan. I think. Can you see that back there?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a big
Yeah,
Lou Reed fan too. So
yeah. Have you heard that Jeff Tweedy song? I love that, by the way. The my babysitter was Lou Reed.
no,
Oh, look it up. He doesn't say it at all through the whole song, and it's a really good song. But I just thought the title was so classically perfect, because I could say that too about myself. Rock and roll animal was kind of my babysitter in a weird way. So, but yeah, Lou was a huge inspiration, still is. And I forgot what you asked me originally.
oh, I think we were originally talking about the singers, and that's
Oh
kind of
yeah. So
yeah.
where are we at now? And then came Barbara, who I'd played in band with like back in the 80s and stuff. And she'd also done a couple kind of, I think, I haven't heard them. I want to say they were kind of loungy stuff, different on Loose Groove in the early thousands, 2000s. And she was kind of like, yeah, that works. And it's nicely bookend the way she does it. I put in both tracks with her tracks, or both sides, I mean. And then Lauren from 38 Coffin, I had just seen them and heard them because my buddy Dane, drummer, he played with them. And I just liked Lauren's delivery and style. And I'm glad I asked her because I think her lyrics are so classic in the sense of like I wish I would have wrote that kind of song, from it reminds me of early Ramones or Richard Hell or something like that. They're just kind of there. And I guess I didn't know who her relatives or father was until later, like a year later. And it made sense that her dad was like a pretty famous songwriter.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, you remember that everybody's doing locomotion?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
It's
he
huge.
wrote those and a few others, and then a lot of big like 70s movie soundtrack songs. Like I keep thinking maybe in Shampoo or Warren Beatty movie. I can't think of what
Uh,
songs they were exactly, but
Locomotion was such an earworm.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he wrote that. I think it was, what's his first name? Jeffrey or Goffin. It's kind of cool how she has 38 Coffin and her last name's Goffin.
Nice.
They're so close. But yeah, so that's, we kind of just picking. It was funny. We tried this one guy. I don't know if you remember in the 90s, there was a band. I can't even think of their name right now, but they had this one song that was a hit, like one hit wonders. I, God, I can't even think of the name of it. But the guy had a cool voice, kind of geeky looking, but it was a good song. It was called something Pole Sitter or something like that.
Hmm.
It was big time radio all over
Yeah.
MTV. I can't think of the name of the band. It's
Was it like a
blanking on me.
rock,
Anyway,
metal, punk?
it was more pop, kind of.
Okay. Oh,
You
I know
know,
what I know the song. Da 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 da.
yeah, it
Da.
was catchy. It had that
Oh
little.
yeah. Oh, that's killing me because
He's kind of paranoia, paranoia. Everybody's coming to get me,
I can't think of who that is though. I know who that song though. It's yeah.
So we were talking to him. I think he was in Nashville at the time, and we sent some songs to him, but he seemed excited, but I know he hadn't done anything in a long time. So maybe life had changed in ways, and who knows? And maybe he was intimidated, or maybe he was didn't think he was ready to go back, or didn't want to go back. So that didn't work out. And then so we were kind of stuck going, well, who's going to sing? So we thought, well, do it kind of like the old cavalcade of hits, where they had, you know, whoever come and introduce all the different acts. It was kind of like a variety show, kind of. But then we worried, are people going to think of it as a like a compilation record, or are they going to how are they going to take it with not just one singer, standardized?
It worked really well for me as a listener. It would made me think a little bit of Santana would do stuff like that, where he'd bring in different vocalists, but it's you
Yeah.
always knew it was Santana, right?
Oh, that's
Like
cool.
there's never any question. And like I think what made this work is there was a continuity of sound for you guys as the band.
Yeah.
Then I think, and again, I want to go back to the backing vocals. I think there was a richness in the way the vocals were produced that really tied everything together. So it worked really well for me. I enjoyed it a lot, and it was fun hearing the different voicings and just the
Yeah,
different
I didn't even
stylings
hear
and
some of that stuff until just recently when I re-listened to it because I'd heard the roughs and said, okay, but then they did some more like at the last minute. So you got to hand it to Josh. Is like this guy is, some guys can be a little uptight in the studio, and there's something. Josh had this kind of aura of a kind of a Buddha type, very
Mhm.
calm. I think Lauren was really nervous when she came in, and I was just like, don't worry about it. There's something about him. He'll just watch him through the booth window and he'll get you through it. And he did, and it turned out great. So um, I think it was him, and just the people that we worked with were knew their stuff. So, and I wasn't always in that position. I felt like a lot of the time I had to babysit people. And what I mean by that is like going over and tuning their guitar or
Oh wow.
doing something, to that point where I
Right.
took personality. Oh, last year, bud. I'm not used to wearing these. Um, I kind of back then there wasn't a whole lot of really people way above the mark as far as musicianship. So you just kind of went with your friends, and if they could play, they could play. But if they were a little behind the curve, you put up with it and you helped them along.
I think that's one of the things that was fun about the early punk because we were all trying to learn together.
Yeah,
Because I remember like sometimes it'd be like, well, why don't you try and play this?
exactly.
You
So,
know?
I mean, some people like, I remember Duff, he was like, I was in bands with him where he was the drummer, the bassist, and the guitarist, you know.
That's cool.
So is he was kind of he was in so many bands. I think when I met him, he was just quit the fastbacks or the as the drummer, as one of the first of a litany of drummers. They're kind of the Spinal Tap of Seattle. Um, I don't know if you know who they are, the
Heard the
fastbacks.
name, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of an institution there. I think they've been together. They're kind of still together. Kim is retired, the lead vocalist bassist, but they just put a new album out not too long ago. It's a definite sound, and so yeah. But this time, I just figured, well, I got Peter, this guy I've been playing with that I've known since he was a kid. Not that he's that much younger than me, but he would come out to my parents' place, and I'd kind of turn him on to new music, and um, yeah, he kind of went off and did his thing and was like raised two really good, a family and two kids. They're off to college now. And then I think it was right around the time he was going to retire because, what he did was so intense work. The guys that mix the mortar,
Hmm.
for the bricklayers,
Okay.
and his knees were gone.
Mm.
He, like during that time we were writing with Rob, he had both knees replaced. So we were down maybe 3 months to 4 months at the most on each one. But, we just kept going. And so he and I had locked in pretty well. And then I asked Stone for a ringer basically on bass. I was going to bring back this guy that was in 10 Minute Warning, but um, I don't know. I just wanted it to be easy, somebody I could just go bam, and they knew it, right? I figured I'd put my dues in at least that to get that much.
Yeah.
Not I wasn't trying to be big whatever, but yeah, so that worked out. And Mikey was really great. He just yeah, he's one of those guys who can play guitar, bass, keyboards. Um and yeah, it was just a core unit there that kind of nobody was really like, oh, I got to do this or I got to do that. It was like, can you do this or do you want to do this? I played bass on some stuff, and I don't even think I was playing at the top of my abilities, really, to be honest. When I was in the studio, I was there was times on the couch, laying down tracks where I was feeling it more. So curious to see what it's going to be like going back and having to stand and play because I haven't done it in so long. I'm used to sitting down now.
So are you guys going to tour with this? Is that the plan or?
The other guy asked me that too, and I hope so. I don't know exactly how we will, but we'll have to do a stripped down version of maybe two vocalists, at the max, get a female and a male vocalist, and I'm sure that some of the people on the record will probably put it on hold temporarily their other projects if that is what calls is necessary. But we'll wait and see. I My hopes is that we can go to Europe or somewhere like that. I think the audiences seem to appreciate music over there better, and other places too. And maybe do residency. That would be cool. Like go to LA, go to New York, go to Denver, go to Austin, go to Chicago, kind of play the clubs that are in the area. And but other than that, yeah. So I guess we just wait and see.
Yeah, well, I think it'd be a lot of fun to see it live, and um, I love I like that you kind of gave a nod to the engineer too, because there is a magic to a good engineer, and I think they're often some of the most unappreciated people in music.
Yeah, they are. I I was just it just reminded me I was going to call yesterday and I forgot. I wanted to get make sure he was invited to one or both shows, because I want to see him again. He's a really, really great person, and uh, I just want him to know how much we all appreciate what he did. It's he was like a magic man in there. It never lost his cool. It was just such a great experience, and I'm not used to having that. Usually, I never really had that experience. I think some of the albums we went in with X hundred of dollars and did it all in one night, or we did it in a couple days. So we didn't have that luxury to kind of do what we did,
Mhm.
which was putting it together in the studio, which I think helps a band in a weird way, where they don't have to nail everything down because you're under pressure of time, because of the cost. And I don't know, now it seems better almost because I can't imagine doing some of the. I look back on how hard it was just to record a track on a cassette 4 track.
No.
It would sound like crap. There's no way you could probably use it unless you wanted like a Soldier single, like lo-fi as you
Hmm.
could possibly get. I don't know if you've ever heard that thing we did in 1980, but
I was trying to track that down actually. I don't know
oh,
where to,
I
I'd like
got a
to hear
whole
it.
goddamn box full of them. I just got back from the reissue from 2006. The guy ran across a bunch of CDs in his attic. He was just moving, and I thought he was going to send me like one box, and it ended up this thing on my porch like this. And it's also the last I heard is getting done by an Orange County label called P&V, that Puke and Vomit.
Okay.
Uh, what is that guy's name? Nathan? I think his name's Nathan. They were going to do a run. We had different artwork, color photographs from I think one of the first shows, and yeah, colored vinyl. And the only reason I thought this would be cool to do it is because that label had like a really good roster. Like they had the Dickies, they had Discharge, they had Dead Kennedys, they had all this cool shit.
Oh yeah.
Um, and they had good distribution. And that was everything we'd never had. It was usually, I think that other label was just, it was a small independent label, kind of done out of his house kind of thing. It, it maybe, might have been a little more than that, but I don't think it got out there as much as it should. It, it's nice that I can get some money off of them because they sell for too much on eBay.
I doubt any of that's going to you, is it?
Huh?
None of that's going to you, is it? It's
Yeah, actually it is.
oh, that's
Because
good.
I'm one of the few people and only people that held on to copies.
Oh, right on. Cool.
Yeah, I even have original 7 inches that go for like thousand to few hundred. That'll be my retirement fund, I guess.
That's very cool.
And
So
actually, if you did you get a vinyl version or did you get the streaming version of the
the
album?
streaming. Yeah.
There's we're trying to like get the vinyl ones sold, and as a kind of a gimmick, they messed up the order on the back, where it's got song lists,
Hmm.
and they're out of order. Like number 2 and 3 are in the wrong
Oh, okay.
place. So we'll say, hey, if you buy this thing, just hang on a sec till the next repressing.
That's a collector's
And
now.
yeah, and then you can turn around and sell it if you want because it's going to go up in price. And yeah, exactly, because it'll be like in that long story of like, the first MC5 record where, it said motherfucker and they chopped it out. Or I think there was a Bowie album where they had to airbrush out something. And a lot of lists of those. The
Yeah.
first few thousand got into the public domain and then were quickly pulled. I was watching some history on the the Andy Warhol or the Velvet Underground album, the Warhol album, the Banana, you know,
Yeah.
and that had a similar thing. I think it was some imagery that was in the background of where they're on the back of the album. And I can't remember what it was, but whoever it was that they used sued them. So those
Oh, I
got pulled.
remember reading about that. Yeah.
And there's a record store down in Portland, Oregon, that has, like, I've never seen that many before of that album. I mean, literally hundreds of them everywhere in the store, from that version, which are thousands of dollars, down to ones that have the banana peeled off and you can pick up for like 45 bucks or something like that. And I think it was the guy from Easy Street. He has it on his Instagram, uh, kind of just walking around talking to, he knows the guy. So,
Mm.
but they're showing all these different ones, you know, oh, this was the pre whatever release in Germany and da, 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 and they did this on that release. And yeah, I didn't know there was such a history backstory to that album, which kind of makes sense. It is a, what did they say? It didn't sell very much, but whoever did buy one started the band.
Yeah, I read something once there like only 40,000 copies sold, but every one of those people started a rock band. And
Yeah, that's great. Hey, what more could you ask for?
yeah, well, I mean, I think that the Velvet Underground influence, I mean, it's was I listening to some rock and roll the other day, and it's just like just such a great song. I mean, just so well done.
Yeah, that was uh go on and on about Lou.
Yeah, I was, if you want to read something, I was just finished reading some one of Patti Smith's books, Her Time with Robert May. That's a fun book, kind of.
Which one?
Oh,
The Just
just
Kids?
kids. Yeah.
I love that book. Uh,
Oh my.
it reads like a, did you get the same sense I got? It was like this flowing poetic kind of, like
Yes.
from the very beginning, it was not like your average book. It just like pulled you into her world.
Yeah, there was like a lyrical flow to the whole
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. That's a better
Yeah.
word for it. I still have a clip of it when she won the National Book Award for the best book, and she's in tears. And I don't think she was expecting it. It was enough just to be nominated
Yeah.
because there were some really hard hitting books that particular year. You know, things going on in different countries and very eloquently written. But I think people wanted something a little more humane and maybe who voted for it, and that's why it won. But
There was a
I thought,
realness to it, it was
yeah, exactly. I haven't read the follow up. The I think it's M Train. I have it, um, and a few others. I love her books.
yeah, she's
So
really
you,
yeah, the end of the book I actually took a couple days to get through because I kept crying.
oh, well, that's
It was
good.
so emotional, and she did such a good job of like taking me there as a reader that I was overwhelmed.
Yeah, and that's so rare. It's the I think it's just as good on audiobook because it's her.
Yeah.
She does all her own audio books. There's just something about her voice too. It's kind of a, like, I think on YouTube I have a playlist section that says, I can't remember, legendary voices, you know, that I keep,
Oh, nice.
people like her and Lou and, you know, Joey Ramone, anybody who's got a voice, Bob Dylan, that is not, it's just not common, you know. There's something unique about their voices. When you hear them, you know who it is. And that's always the trouble with finding vocalists, in my opinion, is finding somebody that is that distinct, you know, that
Yeah.
when you hear them, you know it's nobody else but them. And, you know, it takes a while for those people to get cemented as who they are, but Yeah, Patty's got one of them, and she's funny as hell. I saw it was the album Gung Ho, I believe it was that tour, and I first saw her on the Wave tour. It was one of my earliest, maybe that someone asked me one of my earliest shows, and I forgot about the Clash and Patti Smith and my dad taking me.
Oh, wow,
He
what a
was
cool
he was a
concert.
cool dad.
Yeah.
Worked at a steel plant and took his kid to a show and picked him up afterwards. Um, but at the gung ho, she told this funny um, joke about a snail and some guy out mowing his lawn, and the snail's doing his thing, and the guy picks the. Man, damn it! This is the first time I've worn these. I got them years ago,
Oh, no worries.
but they sure help here. And so he tosses the snail over in the yard, in the next door neighbor's yard. And the guy finishes up, and time goes by. And so it's been about a year. And the guy that was mowing his lawn hears a knock on his door. And he's like, he looks down, and there's the snail. And the snail's looking up, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And that was it. That was her joke.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it took him a whole year to get back, but he was going to find out, why did you do that to me?
That's great.
That was
What,
Patty.
anything you're reading right now that you're really enjoying, or?
I have a problem reading. One of my eyes is really messed up, so I got to go in and have surgery maybe on it June 1st. But I got into Audible a little bit,
Oh, I do. I
and
do. I like audiobooks, especially when the author, like Rob Halford's, when he reads it, is hilarious. I mean, he's just,
yeah, but I have that because I was really into a time when I was just getting all the like musicians I liked, and
yeah,
especially when they were reading it, and they tend to more so than others.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I have this whole backlog I've got to listen to. So yeah, I've got a stack of books I want to read, but I went in for my eye exam and he looked at it and he's like, glasses aren't going to help you this time. We've got to get this fixed beforehand.
No,
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, I love reading. I love the physical book. I've tried Kindle and that, it's okay because you can make the font bigger and all that
Right.
and the paper light one. But like Patty said, never forget the physical book. Don't forget the font. Don't forget the pages. Don't forget the smell. It was her plea to the publishers, I think, to don't do away with it because it's magical,
Yeah.
and it is. Because I read her that Just Kids in book form, and you got the pictures, and you got to experience the whole thing like that. They just can't on an electronic device. It's not the same. So. And the guy I was talking to this morning, we were talking about like I mentioned I love old architecture, and so he was talking about these cathedrals, especially one in France. It was like the oldest of all of them over in
Mhm.
that European area, and I'd never heard of it. So he sent me the link, and I was going to dig into that. I'm going to have to put it on the computer and blow the font up, really big, but you can't stop me. There's always ways around it.
Have you
So
read the Pillars of the Earth books by Ken Follett?
no.
If you're really into architecture, it's kind of fun because I don't know if you know Ken Follett as a writer. He kind of has he's like got an outline. So it's like it's going to be good versus evil and good's going to win.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty, and he like you can tell the characters, but he does really good historical research. And in that one, he's following a family who starting to build a cathedral, but they don't, those cathedrals were built through generations.
Yeah.
So he's actually following the story through generations. And it's really fun if you're into architecture, it's really fun how like you get the evolution of it. And then, of course, he adds all this drama to it. And
I love history too, for one another thing. So that sounds like a good double um interest book there.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy that one. So
If you think about it, could you text me the name because I won't remember it.
I will. I definitely will do
Yeah.
that.
Okay. It there's a what was the I've been running across people we're not the religious people, but we like stuff like the cathedrals and things like that. It reminded me of Daniel Quinn, I think his name, the one who wrote Ishmael. I don't know if you ever,
Oh, okay, I've heard of it. Yeah.
there's a trilogy, Ishmael, and then the middle one is called The Story of B, and then my Ishmael.
Okay.
And uh, the story of B kind of doesn't really have anything to do with the first and third, last one. Because Ishmael is a gorilla that can do sign language, and he's telling the story of how mankind started, uh, basically became sedentary, just in staying in one spot versus he called them the takers and the leavers, the ones that continued to follow the game around and move with the seasons. And those were the leavers, and then the ones that stayed put, they were takers, I think it was. But so the story of B is like this guy named B is spreading this same story around, right? And so the Catholic Church gets a little, is this guy the Antichrist? Because he's got a huge amount of following,
Hmm.
telling this alternative story they don't particularly care about. And the guy goes over, the young priest, and kind of falls under the spell of the story and realizes it's true. And it kind of progresses from there. And I don't know why I thought of that from,
That
I
sounds
guess it's
fun.
because
I'll check it out.
it's one of my favorite books, trilogy wise.
All right. Yeah, I'm always looking for new stuff to read. So
Yeah. I don't think it will disappoint you too bad if you like Patti Smith and what you just mentioned.
yeah,
I
no, that
have
sounds fun.
I've gotten through most of the way through the last one, but for some reason I put it down. I kind of go and like read voraciously for a couple years and then don't for a couple years, and it's with this house, I never found a place I liked to read. That was the main thing until
Okay.
recently. In the old place, the other place I lived in, I had my spot, where it was comfortable. I think that's a big thing, at least for me as a reader. You got to have a spot where you just dedicate to it.
You
And
got to have that
I
place
would
where you
read,
dig into it.
other places in between, but you never quite absorbed it the same way or as thoroughly because you had all kind of stuff going on around you. So,
I know I can relate.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything you're listening to music now that's got you excited?
Wow. Last thing I was really into was that, what was the wheelchair boot camp or whatever that
I haven't heard of
came
that.
out on, um, I think it's on Alternative Tentacles. A new video that just dropped, and Jello's in it, but he's kind of like on a TV in it with a
Okay.
Hope hat on.
Nice.
It's just a single from I think a record they have coming out. I just love the music but the lyrics are what really grabbed me. No holes barred.
Yeah.
Um, you should be able to find it. Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's I can't think of the name right now of the song. Um, and oddly enough, I don't listen like I used to music ever since I this project restarted with Rob and I. And I think, yeah, prior to it, my stereo's still there, but it's just not hooked up. I haven't even listened to mine yet on vinyl. But since all this came pouring out of me from I don't know where, I haven't been listening like I used to. And maybe that's just to separate the two, because, maybe I'll go. I used to listen to stuff and go, oh, wow, I wish I would have written a song like that. Maybe I could cheat and write, you know. And that never works because you force it too much and it
Yeah.
becomes kind of obvious. So I don't know if it was a decision I made or it must have been subconsciously because I didn't even notice it till later that I don't even listen to music anymore. Occasionally, I'll grab my phone or whatever and listen to something like on YouTube, and that's about it. And mostly it's older stuff. But when I do find something new, I kind of it's nice because there's not a lot of stuff out there that's really all that. You got to dig for it to find it these days because
Yeah,
the record companies aren't putting it out there for you.
well,
At
it's kind of
least
like
stuff for me.
you mentioned with voices. It's like if they find a voice that sells, they're going to
Oh
find
yeah,
1,000 bands with a singer who sounds like that voice.
just like that. Yeah,
Yeah, so it is there is that, and I do find with a lot of bands like it seems like the art of lyric writing has diminished.
I won't get started on it.
All right, let's let that one
Huh?
go.
That is one of my big things, you know. Rob and I used to talk at extremes to the importance of enunciation and syllables. How you going to phrase just one word? Like if it
Yeah,
had three syllables, you think about it. If people, you know, I don't think anyone does that anymore. Like how they're going to pace it in, you know, they all keep them, and they're kind of embarrassingly bad. I mean, they're the subject matters all have been done better than what's coming out, and I don't know. I kind of look at it and go, okay, they got all these. They weren't doing well. They were in crisis mode in whatever the 90s or whatever, and or early 2000s, and they figured it out. They get these kids hooked on this packaged stuff like on Nickelodeon and Disney, and
yeah.
then they grow up and they don't expect anything more, so they can just kind of put this cellophane cheap crap out on them, and they think it's good, except the few, you know, the certain percentage that had an older brother or sister or parents that had cool records that kind of go, no, this is bullshit, this is the real. I was watching some, it's hard to tell if it was a little boy or a girl. He had long hair, but it must have been about 9 or 10 or 12. And he's like, there's some kids at school, they don't even know who the Beatles are. I mean, what the fuck? And I was going, right on, kid. And, you know, he's obviously raised by some really cool
Yeah.
parents, you know. And he goes, how am I supposed to relate to them when they don't know that?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, God, yes, there's still like this hope for it all still, you know, that kid's going to grow up and be in a great band, you know.
No, it's
He
kind of
he
like
just looked like your typical kind of surfer kid
yeah,
from California, long blonde hair, and probably about it was on. I was just flipping through YouTube, and it was one of those reels, you know, those little short ones
right, right.
where you get in the rabbit hole and you're doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was one that had been posted. I just glanced at it, and they go something referencing how it doesn't get better than that, or what he said doesn't get more true than that. So it could have been a little bit of an older one, but it made me feel like, okay, the kids, they're not all just like zombies listening to the shit. I know there's a sub genre out there like there was when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's
those
funny.
are the ones I hope to reach, you know?
Yeah. No, I think you will for sure. I mean, it's like I meet a lot of people who like are like, oh yeah, Blink 182 got me into punk, and I'm like, really? I didn't know they were a punk band. But
Yeah, I didn't
go on, you know.
either.
But then I'll play them something like I don't know if you remember the band The Lude from San Francisco.
Oh, fuck yes, that's
Yeah, I'll play them The Lude's American Wino, and they'll be like, what the fuck is that? I'll be
is
like,
this. Yeah,
that's punk rock, man. That's
exactly.
like that's
And
that.
have you ever seen these reactionary videos like the first time they hear blah blah blah?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've seen a few with people listening that like in their teens or late teens, early 20s, and some are musicians, and they'll be listening to like Bowie or somebody like that, and they don't know how to deal with when like on Scary Monsters or something like that, and he pushes his voice way beyond the limit of, where he's going,
Yeah.
just doing it. And they're like, oh, I've never heard anyone do that before, like, oh. And it's like, yeah, because you got auto tune and everything's correct, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and
Yeah.
you just got to get in there and feel it. If you don't feel it, I don't know what to call that other than the soul or like
Yeah.
Patti Smith has got it, Iggy's got it, Lou had it, all those people have it. Um, I remember playing with Jane County once, and
Hmm.
she was talking about. Hmm, I'm sorry, I was eating these little sesame stick things, and they're all stuck in my teeth now, coming out. But she was doing the song "Rock and Roll Resurrection," and she was got down how to bring it down, and you got to feel the soul
Yeah.
of rock and roll, and it's absolutely true because when someone's on stage and they have that thing where they're feeling it in a way
Yeah.
that you can't explain. And that's why I'm like, I got anxiety and I'm shy, but not as much as I used to be. But the most comfortable place I ever would go was on stage because I could disappear there
Yeah. There's a
to be
transcendent
in a
moment for sure.
whole different kind of place would allow itself open to me
Yeah.
that I could slip into. And if you're just going up there, and I don't know how to judge if they are faking it or, uh, but I think you can tell who's really got it and who doesn't. It comes across,
Yeah.
and of course, I don't go to shows or that much, and most of the music I don't really care for. So there's some out there I respect just because of who they are, but I don't particularly care about their music. So it's a mixed bag.
Yeah. I'm excited to see you on the road, and I'm in San Francisco, so I hope you guys travel down here. So,
Yeah, I would like to. There's some people in LA I really miss, and a couple people that live in San Francisco. I like San Francisco. I'm saddened to keep hearing the things I hear about it, just the homelessness and stuff.
sorry,
And I think it's probably exaggerated.
it's totally exact. It's ridiculously exact. It's really
Yeah,
one. I mean, the Bay Area is one of the most beautiful places in the world. But you know
yeah, it
what?
always has
If it
been.
keeps the Fox News people and the voters that like, if it keeps them out of here, let's keep that narrative going.
Yeah, it's fine with me. And they did the same thing with Seattle and Portland. They made it sound like, oh, no stores open and they're all boarded up and blah blah blah. And I'm like, what?
Oh, I
I
was in
was just
Portland last
there.
summer. It was like paradise. I mean,
Exactly.
it was so gorgeous and like it was so vibrant and yeah, it's
I
amazing.
always had a feeling of Seattle and San Francisco being more of akin to each other. They,
Yeah.
to me, I felt that
Oh, you're
blue. I became a soccer fanatic in like 2018, which I never was a big sports fan, but so yeah, I watch soccer pretty much every day. It's very strange. Yeah.
I haven't been bitten by that bug yet, but maybe when it hits, I'll give you a call. So,
Yeah, I never thought I would be either. I think I was watching the World Cup when it was in Russia, and something about I was following the Mexican national team. And then I saw what everybody had been telling me all those years that, oh, they call it the beautiful game. It's the biggest game in the world. But it was always so boring. But my perspective, I must have been in the right place looking at it from a different perspective that time. And ever since then, I've been fanatical about it. So
that's great. Well, if it hits you, it hits you.
yeah, it's helped a lot. Got through the pandemic. And of course that didn't stop them. They played to empty houses. Pretty much every morning, 365 days a year, except for a small window in the summer, is you can find a game
Yeah.
somewhere in the world. Yes. Yeah, there's nothing quite like it.
That's
And now in June we have the World Cup starting in Canada, America, and Mexico. So that it's going to be crazy. I
yeah. I
think there's a number of games in LA and Seattle, Vancouver, and then down in Monterey.
think even Kansas
Uh,
City.
yeah, and New Jersey, I think, is the opening game at one of the football stadiums. I don't know if it's Giants or I don't know why they picked that. The corrupt FIFA organization, that's one bad thing about soccer. It happens to have a very corrupt oversight committee. But
No, it's a lot of industries. So
yeah, there's a lot of money in that just for
yeah.
television rights alone, you know. It's everybody who's got like one league or another, you know. They got the Spanish league, they got the French league, they got the British league, they got the German Bundesliga,
So do
and
you have a
everybody
team that you
fights for
follow?
those. Yeah, I've got quite a few.
Is there like one
Chelsea
that's
and
like your heart team?
ooh, that's hard to say.
I
I
got
go
friends who
for the
are soccer fanatics where it's like they've got that team where it's like
Yeah, I know. See, I'm
everything
coming into
stops.
it late. I would take Chelsea maybe because here's the blanket and stuff. That's UK, the Premier League.
Yeah.
But there's others that I really glom onto that are the underdogs. I've always loved the underdog teams that really shouldn't be at the level they seem to get to. Like they have this thing called the Champions League every year that runs pretty much from the beginning of, well, their seasons run from August to June, right?
Yeah.
Basically. So they straddle the years there. And we're right at the end of most of the season. So this is the best time right about now. And kind of like pro football, college football is better
Hmm.
because the pro leagues now they're so overpaid that it's not a contact sport hardly at all anymore. Where
No.
the league right below them, where they're fighting to get promoted up into that league, is where the good games seem to be. So there's a lot of smaller teams.
No, that's like in Oakland, they the A's left for the baseball, but they got this a Pioneer League team, the Ballers, and
Yeah,
it's so much fun because it's not as perfect as the
yeah,
major leagues, and it does make it more fun because it still feels like a game.
yeah. That's
So
exactly what I'm talking about. There's
yeah.
maybe a good introduction is on if you get Hulu. They run it on FX, I think, is a series of a team from Wales called Wrexham.
Okay.
And Ryan Reynolds bought it with a friend of his, another actor, years ago. And they became the first team ever in football history to be promoted 3 years in a row
Oh wow.
from League One to Two to the Champions, which is right underneath. And they lost out on getting into the Premier League a week ago by one goal.
Oh wow.
It was so heartbreaking. They could have done what no other team probably would ever have done before. And they didn't come in and sink millions of dollars in, really. They just were smart picking the kind of older players that were on their way out, but, and younger, newer players. And it's the oldest team in Wales,
Oh
uh,
wow. That's cool.
like in from the 1800s and stuff. So they ended up moving there. So it's a television show, documentary. I think there's season four starts, I think at the end of this month or the 1st of June. So those are on replay, and you can watch that. And it's not just about that; it's about the people in the town,
Yeah.
the supporters, and their unique. There's an autistic girl that supported them the whole way,
Yeah.
and her journey, and the women's team, and all that stuff. So it's a really good show, just in its own sense.
I'll
So
check that out.
yeah, it's called Welcome to Wrexham.
Cool.
And I think it's cool that the way they came in and were looked at like, oh, we don't want some big Hollywood guy coming in, but he really embraced it and understood what that team meant to people. Like there's a history of a mine accident, and a lot of the guys that were supposed to be in the mine that day had gotten people to fill in for them so they could go see the Wrexham game.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, there's this big loss and history there that still permeates through the town because everybody knows everybody and is, a relative of so and so. Yeah, it's good watching.
No, I'll check it out. Well, hey,
Yeah.
if people want to follow your work, get in touch with you, what's the best way for people to do that?
See, I'm really behind the curve, and Ginger's she rides me on this too, and other people. But I just had a meeting yesterday with the promo guy, just to kind of get that all taken care of. So there's the Loose Groove's got their SoundCloud or whatever page. Is that it?
So Loose Crew, okay.
No, Loose Groove, the record label,
Okay.
and that's where people can buy the vinyl too, if they're wondering. Because I wasn't sure, and the record stores around here, I know it's getting out there slowly but surely. Um, I should be more into this, but right now I've been preparing for the shows and stuff and
Yeah.
rehearsals. So thankfully, a couple other people have picked up the slack, like Barbara and Deja, really hitting the social media. And I talked with Mike a lot after the interview, and I mean, the fact that he's been doing that podcast for 25 years kind of blew me away. That
Oh,
back
that's
then
cool.
nobody even knew the word podcast. It wasn't the hip thing to do. And all the social media he's on, there was a few I'd never even heard of. Like, what are these places? So the best way to get a hold of me, I'm on Facebook, of course, and that's about it, and Instagram. So if you want to follow me on there, and I'll talk to anybody. I've got friends around the world that I converse with, and from Solger, like just that funky
Yeah.
little 7 inches. There was someone from Pakistan a few years ago that just got a recording of it from I think a soldier
Oh,
and
how
from an
cool.
American
Yeah.
soldier. Kind of like that movie Persepolis. I don't
Yeah.
know if you ever saw that, the
I haven't seen that
animated.
one. That's really
It
cool though. That's
yeah, that movie is an animated movie about a girl in Iran that gets a cassette tape from a American soldier through a soldier in Iran, something in the 80s. And so she's hearing stuff of the 60s and 70s from America for the first time, and punk and heavy metal, and just going, yeah, rebellion. And
that's so
that's not
cool.
really hip in that
Right.
community. Yeah, so it's cool
Right
that
on.
you
Well,
can
hey,
reach kind of by weird ways. You can reach people.
yeah. Well, this has been really fun talking to you. I've really enjoyed this a lot.
I thank you for taking the time out to do it, and thank you to Ginger for setting it up.
Definitely,
She's
definitely. And
always been a supporter, and we wish her the best.
yes.
And
And I hope to see you on the road soon.
yeah, I would. It would be great to meet you in person. So, are you in San Francisco or Los Angeles for the most
San
part?
Francisco. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'll definitely make sure we get in touch if we're heading that way. Because
Cool.
if it's going to happen, it will happen soon, I imagine.
Well, fingers
All right.
crossed. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.